share music. Very cool. Very cool.
Hey y'all.
Hey everybody. Wow, this is
It's still like this, but it doesn't come out like that whenever it like posts.
Well,
Sorry everybody, we're a few minutes behind because we're having some technical issues, but nonetheless,
we're here.
like our sis said, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
We're working it out. We're working it out. We're getting logged in over here on
Instagram, Burning Geeks.
Hope everyone's having a winning week, a dominating week. Yeah. I don't know if you all can hear, but I'm getting my voice back. For any of you who were in the live last week, my voice is going in and out. I was like trying so hard not to cough. It's not 100%, but I'm getting there. So it's been a little time for people to join.
Yes. Please say hope y'all have been having a better than ever week. Hey Mike, hey Bree. It's been going
Oh,
good
Mike,
so
what's
far.
up, man? What's going on? Thanks for the support, bud.
Yes, thank you all for the support.
Yeah, Bree, appreciate the support.
I do some bullshit.
Yeah, we got a good topic today. I say that every week, but it's just good stuff.
It's a good topic.
Yeah, this is stuff we all deal with as business owners, and it's good to share things we learn and just continue to support each other as a community. So.
Yes, right.
All right.
How was your day today?
Day was great. Day was great.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it was good. Today was good. We Facebook ads and and website launches.
Marketing strategist.
Okay.
I'm just messing up.
Yeah.
So that's his role in one of the strings.
Yes.
Or one of our strings, I should say.
Right. So yeah, it's a good day. Good day. Getting a lot done. So all right, everybody. How about you? Before I dive in, how was your day?
Like I always say, it was better than ever.
See, I almost had it. Y'all still almost had it. Same answer. All right. Well,
yes.
We're not going to belabor the point. So, welcome to our live.
Yes.
I'm Cleet, the Geek.
I'm Kim, the Geek.
And
we are the Burning Geeks.
So,
sorry, I just had to do it.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. We get one of them jingles from the 90s.
I know.
So,
anywho.
Yeah. So, we back on here, back here to share some insight, ask some questions, and really just provide value to all of our people that follow us,
yes.
support us, that we're connected with. So, today's topic is focus. And we're gonna dive right in. What's up, Malik? Malik in the building. What's going on, bro?
Focus is a good topic as well because it's still being, still first quarter of 2020.
Yes.
No better time than to get to focus.
Yeah, stay with it, right? So,
that's right.
You got those. I stopped doing the what do you call it? The first year resolution. I stopped that a few years ago. It just, it just don't work out that way. I just try to keep it going all year.
Yeah.
But for those of you who still commit to doing that, I think it's important to get refocused, right?
Right.
There's going to be things that are going to come and get you off focus. So the goal is to just keep refocusing. It's not giving you hard, being rough on yourself or,
right.
or looking at it the wrong way, but it's just getting back on the. For those of you who know me, I'm trying not to jump with this saying, but
oh Lord,
Beef
is gonna laugh at you.
Let's get back on the wagon. That's what I want to say. That's what's coming to front of mind. I don't know if that's the same, but
hey, G-Ma.
We'll roll with it. What's up, G-Ma?
Mm-hmm.
So today's focus is focus.
Right.
You like that. And what we're talking about in regards to focus is staying or sticking to a specific strategy for launching your business, launching your idea, launching your product or whatever it is you want to put in front of the world. Maybe it's just growing your audience, right? I think whatever the case is, there's always going to be some strategy behind, pursuing that endeavor, right? Whether it's a business, a product, or your artistry, right? So, but the problem that a lot of us come across, especially especially with the internet age, you have something like Facebook ads, or you have something like launching your business, right? And you can literally do a Google search and find thousands of different strategies and approaches to it.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that we've encountered with a lot of our clients, and some things we encountered just through trial and error, is the other end of that spectrum, where you want to use all of these strategies
right.
that are enticing to you, that they look like there's something that's going to work. You have someone on there, they're promoting their strategy like, I have a proven system that's going to make you $5,000 in 5 days with very little work. And you're like, oh man, this is great. How much money I have to spend to use this system, because it's just going to change my life. And the reality is that system may work, or it may work, it may not work. But
right.
I think a lot of times the things that cause it not to work is when we don't have focus on or commitment to the strategy itself. A lot of times we're taking that strategy and we're mixing it with another strategy that we came across from a book, from a previous training, from just our business experience. So,
right.
This conversation is really a call to focusing on and committing to one way of doing things for a consistent amount of time until you can see results from it, right? Mm-hmm. So, one of the 3 areas we're going to talk about is launching your business, right? Or it could be rebranding, right? You might have already had a business and you're thinking like, hey, I might have created this business in my youth, right? And it had a very youthful feel, but now I want to rebrand it and give it more of a professional feel, right? So I'm talking to the people who are starting out, or you're rebranding. Also, so we're going to look at focus and sticking with the strategy in that regard. Then we're going to look at a focus on your inbound strategy and your outbound strategy, right? So starting with the startup, launching out, right? There's Kim and I can tell you there are several approaches to this this whole part of your business, right? There's the do I go the avenue of looking to have an investor fund my business? Mm-hmm. Do I have do I work with what do you call it, the angel investors? Do I create a business plan and and look to get investments that way? Or maybe I have good credit already, right? This could be I could have been successful in industry, and now I'm branching out to start my own business. So I actually have credit. Oh, what's up, Derek? What's going on, man? Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. So yeah, you have that
getting a business loan, or
business loan,
not
right?
Getting a business loan, and I'm starting selling stuff, and not incur any debt on my business.
Right, and then you got the the approach that most of us might take, right? Where you're like, listen, I have this idea, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to start making money from it, and then I'm going to take that money and reinvest it into the business, right? So with that approach, it's very important that you stick with the strategy, because what happens is anytime you're switching strategy or you're mixing strategies, you run the risk of impeding your progress, right? Mm-hmm. The goal of any business is obviously to make money, but we all know if we find ourselves in the situation where we're constantly thinking of different ways to approach it, and we're constantly switching that. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to build my business and I'm going to choose to get investment. So you're working on your business plan and then you're doing all these things, but then at that same time you're also trying to sell the product and grow your brand or your service. What happens is, and Kim, when we discuss this topic, you're kind of at this situation where you're 30% in all your efforts, right? So you got 30% of you over here, promoting your business. So you got 30% of you that's putting effort into learning, whether it be organic outreach efforts or paid efforts, right? And you got 30% of you that's like actually working on the service or product, right? You got 30% of you just working on this business plan,
Right.
and you're trying to get investment. So it's like you're so scattered that you impede your progress. So the first month becomes a year, then the year becomes 5, and now you're 10 years down the road, and it's like, man, I'm trying to get my business off the ground.
Still off the ground.
Right.
It's like you said, like if each one of those areas are getting 30%, none of those are getting 100%, so they're all falling short in those areas.
Right. So this call to focus really allows you to say, you know what, I have a specific goal. I'm going to choose this goal. And even though I'm very tempted to go in this other direction, because I might have just watched E.T., and he just got me so motivated. So it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to sell 10,000 shirts tomorrow. You have to resist changing your original plan, right? Stay focused. So we talked about this in previous, about starting with your why, right? Yeah. When you stick with that why, when you take the time to establish your why, that's going to be an anchor for you, so that when you
anchor,
oh Lord, it's going to be an anchor for you, so that you don't get too far off, because there are going to be so many strategies that you want to approach, but you want to stick to something that that you believe in. First of all, you don't want to do anything you don't believe, right? So you start with believing in it, and once you believe in it, you stick to it. You hold on to it, and like I tell clients, whether we run ads, whether we're trying a specific marketing strategy, you give it a time box. You say, you know what, from this day until a year from now, from this day to 3 months from now, this is what I'm committed to do. And when you do that, you get the results, right? You get a chance to get some feedback, get some metrics to say, this isn't working. This is, I'm not going to be able to get a loan in that regard. Or, you know what? If I put another 3 months at the progress that I'm at now, if I put a couple more months into this thing, I'll see the results I want. So that's the perspective of having focus when you're launching your business. Mm-hmm. There's going to be, you're excited. This is a very exciting time for you, so you're going to start getting exposed to all of these concepts. If you've never been in entrepreneurship, I appreciate it, bro. If you've never been exposed to entrepreneurship, then you're going to start seeing, whoa, look at all these other entrepreneurs, and wow, that this strategy for Facebook is amazing, or this strategy for Instagram is amazing, or this email marketing strategy is awesome, right? So you're going to get exposed to all these things, and I'm here, and Kimberly's here to help you and sort of warn you to say, hey, listen, when I'm exposed to these things, let me choose the one thing, right? I know all these things, I know they may all feel like they could work together, but I can't be a baller, email marketer, while I'm also learning how to, provide my product to my client, mm-hmm. and create a great client experience, while also learning Facebook ads, while also you kind of get my drift, right? There's too much to balance, and what happens is you kind of end up crashing at some point.
Stop doing everything.
Yeah, and you just I just need to spend time with family. I'm not around my family. You just start making excuses, and you get out of the business. All right. So that's the part on launching. Now, once you've launched, every business, and I mean every business, needs an effective outbound and inbound strategy. It's kind of a yin and yang type thing. You need the both of them. You can function for a great deal of time, with one or the other, but to have a cohesive business that is scalable, mm-hmm. that is durable, that lasts through time, you're going to need to be thinking about your inbound and outbound strategy. Mm-hmm. Now, we'll mention a few. We're not going to say, hey, this one is better than the other. Right. We'll mention a few, but we're mentioning them in terms of the conversation about focus.
Right. Focusing on one inbound, one outbound strategy.
Right. So let's talk about some outbound strategies, right? So, mm-hmm. one of the traditional, more recognizable strategies is cold call,
Right.
right? So, back in the day, as we, especially 90s, 80s, probably even
Before
that.
the internet.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to say when it started, but any of us who've been in business, that that's been a thing. But we're kind of shifted into a new age where cold calling is still happening, and there still has some certain effect in some more traditional industries, like home improvement and things like that. But that strategy is, we can all agree, is kind of dated, right? So, but nonetheless, it's a strategy that requires you to play the numbers game, right? You got to be able to say, you know what, I have to get in front of enough potential clients,
this many calls,
right, to see after a certain amount of calls I make, based off of that amount of calls, how many people are actually going to pick up the phone, have a conversation,
step one,
and then go through the whole conversation with me, right? And then who actually wants to, buy my product or my service, right? So once I find out that ratio, that conversion rate, then I say, okay, every time I dial 80 dials, I'm going to get 10 people to have a conversation with. And out of those 10 people, I'm going to get, 2 people close, right? So that's a strategy. Like I said, it might be a little outdated, but we're not really talking about the effectiveness of this strategy, this conversation, as much as we're saying, if that's your strategy when you start out, you got to be doing that. You can't be cold calling, and then while you're calling, you like setting up your email campaign, right? And here's the thing: I'm not saying that you can't have them running together, but this conversation is about perfecting one thing, right? Or not even perfecting, but getting the process down for one thing, and then moving to the other. Mastering one process and getting to the other. Figure out what that conversion rate is before you're running that email campaign, right? So as you heard, I mentioned email campaign, right? So email campaign is another outbound strategy that can also work as an inbound strategy, right? So, you got that, and then you also got social media, right? There's the traditional way. It's funny to say social media and traditional, but I mean, it's been around long enough for us to start saying that. So the traditional way would be simply to message people and say, hey, are you looking for this product or service, right? So the point of these different ones that I'm mentioning is simply to say, hey, if I'm going to work with any of these areas, I need to make sure that I master it. I get a process in place. And let's talk about what a process is. Process is simply understanding every time I go to do this particular action, here are the steps I have. Here's the written process. I dial, I record, I take the notes, I send it over to a VA or my assistant or my coworker or whoever.
Even if you're doing it yourself in the beginning.
Right. You develop a process and you stick to that. Once you have that process, that's your indicator. You know what? I'm ready to take on more. You're not winging it anymore. Right. And these are just the small things that we don't realize subconsciously cause us to quit and stop doing and stop moving forward. Because we never establish a process, so we give up. We're like, man, this doesn't work. Well, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just you don't have systems and processes that you can lean on to get you to an end result.
Right, and stay consistent enough with it.
Yes. So then that's the outbound strategy. That's the inbound strategy. And outbound, really, that was the outbound strategy. And the inbound strategy is more so of, it's your sales funnels, right? It's your content marketing, right? It's your social media marketing, right? So this is you outputting information and providing value to your industry and to your potential clients, and doing it in a way where they could come back and purchase your product or service. So whether that be, like you heard me just mention, you got social media strategy, right? You can run both organic and paid marketing ads, right? Marketing campaigns, right? So you can, run ads based off of, let's say, if you're a, what's a good, I keep using t-shirt. A t-shirt business is always a good go-to, right? So if you're a t-shirt company, you may have some, some organic ads. And when I say organic, I'm simply talking about the post, you can literally just go and put an image and put some text with it, right? You don't have to pay anything, right? So that's normally considered organic. And then you have the paid traffic where you go on a Facebook Manager and you go through that whole process of finding an audience. You're locking down your target audience that you want to get your t-shirts in front of, and then you actually use that strategy. So you have paid, excuse me, you got paid, organic, and then you have, like I said, you have the sales funnels, right? So sales funnels is where typically you're going to take a person down a specific path that you want them to go down. So if you're, if you're selling websites, right, you may have a checklist or some type of giveaway that you're presenting to the client and say, hey, you want to know the 5 things necessary for growing your website, but here's this really amazing PDF that's going to take you through each of those steps and make it easy for you. So you give them something, give them a piece of value, and when you give them that value, they give you their email address, which is really important because now you can put them on that email marketing campaign we talked about earlier, right? So and then once you got that email, now there's another page that's saying, hey, here's a training or here's a video telling you about our services and why you want to choose our website. Click this next button and we're going to give you the 5 steps. We may give you something else, or we may take you to our, our schedule a call page, right? So a lot of us, we've been through these processes where, you're wanting a product and it's like, wow, I'm going from page to page. Well, that experience is a fun, right? So that's an inbound strategy that, you send out, you put out content, you put out freebies, you put out something, and you get people coming into your funnel to purchase your product or service. Right. So once again, those are different strategies that you can employ for an outbound strategy, for an inbound strategy. Just like there's the different strategies that you can employ for your outbound strategy. The goal is to focus on one. You sit down, with your business partner, with whatever team you have, or if it's just you, and you say, you know what, for this next 6 months, this is my outbound strategy. Identify that. This is my inbound strategy. This is how I'm going to launch. I'm going to fund the business by myself, or whatever the venture is, right? You decide the funding for. You decide, you think about, okay, do I need to get a trademark right now? You make those decisions up front and then stick with it. Give yourself a timeline to stick with it. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a world of difference on the progress you make, because you start to realize, even though these things come up, and Kim is really good at this. I'm one of those squirrel kind of guys, like squirrel.
I was about to mention that earlier. Don't have the squirrel mentality, meaning like you're working on something, so you're working on one of the strategies, and then the squirrel, oh no, I'm going to do the strategy, and then another something happens, and you're like squirrel, something else happens. Like, don't get the squirrel mentality. You want to be focused.
Up, right? Yeah. So we all have that tendency, because here's the reality. We're very talented people. We have. I've come across, especially my friends and family, like almost everyone I know, they have multiple talents that they can, make into a business or, a way of life. So, the reality is, while you can do all these amazing things, when you have focus, this is such a crazy example that always comes to my mind, but it's the first thing I think of. I always think of, and it's not even that they have much success, but I just like their strategy. So I think of Nelly, right? Nelly came out. He came out with his his first hit. I can't remember it, but it was banging at the time, and everybody's bumping it. And then he comes out with the next hit, right? And then people are bumping it, and everyone's loving it. And then he introduces the crew. And while I was just saying, I just forgot the name. Gosh, I was just, when I thought of this idea.
Someone part of this crew.
He introduced the whole crew. Gosh, I just had the name. If anybody knows that, please.
I'm R&B.
But the point I'm making was he launched out first, and then he brought everybody else out, right? Everyone pulled their resources from Nelly to come out. St. Lunatics, there we go. Yeah, So, and then he brought everybody else out. So that's just something in the front of my mind. I don't know why, but it reminds me of different talents that we have, right?
Mhm.
And we have to allow our talents to catch fire first. And we have to choose one talent,
Right.
let that catch fire, and then we go back and we add all of the other talents. You know, we pursue the different things. That way we can at least allow there to be some buzz caught and growth to happen. So yeah, that's it.
Like you said, well, when we were talking beforehand, you can be a jack of many trades and a master of none.
Jack of all trades.
Master one strategy.
Mhm.
Once you, master that thing, start with another one. While that other one is still, being successful.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's one of the main things we wanted to touch on today. Like I said, something a lot of times what we look to do is we look to bring in conversations that we having with clients and
Right.
and things that's happening in the real world. We try to bring it to the live and have a discussion around it. Leave a time for question and answers, and
Right. I think all the lives we've done really have been just based on our real client experiences.
Yeah, it's not
that we
like
see all the time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it'll be from books too that we're reading or whatever have you, but most of the time it's like real life experiences. So, we're understanding that some of the things we're facing, everyone's facing, right?
Mhm.
So, this is why we want to continue to bring this value to you all and just be consistent with that. So, thanks for listening. If anybody has any questions, we'll wait around for a few minutes and be on our way.
Yes.
What's up,
Any questions on what we talked about tonight about focusing or mastering one strategy, or not even that, but any kind of branding question at all, graphics, websites, social media, whatever the case may be.
Strategy.
Strategy. Let's see if you have any questions. If not, we will wrap this up.
Yeah, we will see that. Oh, do the whole drop. Maybe,
Do the whole drop. What's the whole drop?
Hey,
Oh, I know. I just never
Facebook.
heard of calling the whole drop.
Oh, listen.
Him and his lingo. Anyway, I don't see any questions right now, but to follow us, if you want to get a hold of us, have any questions, or just want to meet with us and work with us, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Branding Geeks, or you can check us out on our website, www.thebrandinggeeks.com. There and also on our Instagram, you can click the link in our bio to go ahead and schedule a free 30-minute consultation with us. We'll be glad to answer any questions, or we look forward to working with you.
That's right. Sorry.
But I don't see any more questions, so I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we hope to see you next week.
All right.
Did you want to make it?
No, I'm good. Thank you for listening.
All right, y'all have a great night. Bye.
Bye. See you later.